Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, hello, I'm Heidi. I've recently moved to Australia, and if you do know who I am, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been debating whether to do this video all week. I've been up and down, yes do it, no don't do it, but I've come to the conclusion that yes, I should. I told myself that I would document each month that I'm here in Australia to see how much I've grown, and as a way to look back and just kind of be a digital diary, I guess. And hopefully it might help others along the way that are in the same stage that I'm at or have been here similar time. And secondly, I was looking on YouTube last night for videos that validate the way that I'm currently feeling, having been in Australia for a month. And I couldn't find anything. I'm sure they probably exist, but from a quick search, I couldn't find anything. It was mainly people looking back on their whole Australia experience a year, 2 years down the line. Whereas I'm a month in, I'm so early, and I've still got so much to learn and grow and develop and experience really. And it's been really tough this week. I can't lie. I have been in a pretty bad state mentally. So I couldn't find anyone that was at the same stage that I'm in and just needed to validate my feelings really. So if you're at the same stage, if you're 1 month in and you're thinking, God, I just want to go home, because that is what I've been thinking this week, I've got you. And today I'm going to run through some pros and cons. I thought it was best to format it that way so I don't just ramble for 15-20 minutes, however long this video is going to be. But I thought it was important firstly to give some context, because as I said last night, I was looking for videos and everyone's experience is so different because of the circumstances that they bring. So I wanted to give context first of all, and also preface that this is my experience, yours might be so different, and just take everything with a pinch of salt, as I'm sure you will, because you might feel a completely different way. I'm 28, so I'm in my late 20s. I lived in London before here, so I lived in London for 5 years. I was living in a pretty horrible place in London with my partner Hamish, who is Australian, and part of the reason that we moved out here. So I was working in comms, marketing and events at a consultancy, and I was kind of manager level. So I've always wanted to move to a different country since I've been a teenager, and I thought Australia would be the easiest move. So, you know, you speak the same language, very similar culture to the UK, and I've had friends that have done the move, and a lot of people do the move, so I thought that would probably be the easiest bet. So I met Hamish 2 years ago, and I said to him, shall we just do it? Should we just move to Australia this year? And we decided, yeah, let's do it. I was in my job for 2.5 years, he was in his job for over 4 years. We fancied a change, so we decided to make the move, and we have moved to the Gold Coast. Hamish is from Brisbane, so it was kind of an easy move, and we're currently living in an apartment that his parents own. So I won't really be talking about accommodation in this video because I haven't luckily had to find any. So yeah, I just thought it was really important that I give you the context of who I am, and that will massively impact why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. So let's get started. Let's start with pros, because it's always good to start with positives. So I've just got them written down here if you see me looking down. First pro is you can do hard things. So this move is so much harder than I ever expected it to be. I was probably quite naive when I applied for the visa and decided we were moving here. I kind of thought I would get my life in London, kind of shift it across and do everything here that I've done in London. So get a similar job, do the same kind of hobbies that I was doing in London, find a similar gym to London, find friends that were like me and like the friends that I had in London. Obviously Hamish already has a few friends here, so I kind of thought it would be pretty easy. Very naive in thinking that now I look back. I didn't really look into it much, to be honest, and I didn't have friends that had done the move in their late 20s to kind of talk to about what it's like. I didn't really look into locations because Hamish is from Queensland and Brisbane, so we were always going to move near his family, and we're so lucky that his parents have got this apartment. So it was kind of just, let's do it. I was naive to how hard it would be, and the fact that I'm here and doing it and living each day and getting through each day and celebrating the small wins and just putting one foot in front of another, that is a win and a massive pro, because you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. And that leads me on to the second pro, which is when you come out of your comfort zone, you will grow. Like, you have to get lost to find yourself, and you have to put yourself out your comfort zone to be able to grow as a person. So I know going through the hard times will make me a better person by the end of it. So just, if you're thinking of doing the move, if you've done the move, be proud of yourself. It's really hard, and we're just here living it. So the fact that you can look back in 10, 20 years and say that you've done it is amazing, and I'm just taking that as a massive pro of moving to Australia. The third one is healthier lifestyle, and I don't want to delve into this too much because I think a lot of people already know this about Australia. That is the main reason why Brits move, because the weather's better, the scenery's better, the wildlife is amazing, there's so many more things you can do outdoors because of the weather. And I am definitely experiencing this. So we moved in October, which is going into their summer, and the weather generally has been better. It's been a bit grey, to be honest, which I don't think is helping my not great mood, but generally it's better, and you spend more time outdoors, and they don't have daylight saving in Queensland, so I'm waking up at 5:30, 6 compared to the UK when I'd wake up at 8 to go to my 9 o'clock job, and I wouldn't really spend much time outdoors. I'd maybe go for a walk at lunch, but here you are spending so much more time outdoors, you're waking up earlier, you're making the most of the day, and there's just much more to do outdoors. It makes you want to eat better, like eat healthier food. And everyone here is so fit and healthy, so it makes you want to be more active and move your body. So yeah, just a general healthier lifestyle. And the last one is time zones aren't as bad as you think. So I was a bit worried about time zones and talking to friends and family back home and being a bit out of the loop of stuff, but it really hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. So there's small windows in the morning and in the night that you can FaceTime family and friends, talk to them. I think as someone in your late 20s, no one's really on WhatsApp 24/7 anyway, because people have jobs, etc. Messaging people, keeping in touch with people, I haven't found an issue with. Moving on to the cons, and I just wanted to preface this with, I realise I am so lucky and grateful to be here and in a position that so many people would give a lot to be in. So I just want to say that I really recognise that, and me going through the cons doesn't mean that I don't realise my privilege. I really do. But that privilege doesn't always help how you're feeling in the moment, and all I can report on is how I'm feeling right now, 1 month in. Hopefully this helps someone if they're feeling the same, or it just gives a bit of an insight into what it is like to make the move from my experience. First con is prepare to be humbled, and humbled I have been. So as I said earlier, I was kind of expecting the move to be quite easy and to just set up life here like my life was in London, with a little bit of a more slower pace and a bit of a difference in the things that I do at the weekend, but I have been quite wrong. So we'll start with the job, which kind of leads me on to the second con. Prepare to jump off the career ladder, which I think maybe I'll group them as one. So job-wise, I worked in comms and events back home, and as I said, I was manager level, so I was kind of like making my way up the career ladder. And when I applied for the visa here, I didn't realise of the restrictions that you have being on a working holiday 417 visa. I knew that they'd scrapped farm work, but I didn't realise they'd brought in, or I don't even know if they brought it in, to be honest, but there is now a restriction that you can only work in one place for 6 months. Any job that you get corporate-wise or marketing and comms events jobs that I'm looking at, I would have to move after 6 months. So that doesn't really make me very employable. And there is certain ways you can go around it. So if the people really like you, they can change your geographical location. So if you start in an office for 6 months, they can change it to remote working, and that still counts as changing. And then if you wanted to stay here for a second year, your first year kind of employment is wiped, and then you can stay in that job for another 6 months. So there is kind of ways around it, but you have to find an employer that's willing to do that. And so far I have not found that. I applied for a number of like hospitality, retail jobs, and I've had an interview and got one of those jobs, which I started this week, which I don't want to say too much about, but I am not loving. It just hasn't been what I expected, and I'm a Christmas casual, so I don't really think that they care much about giving me much training or helping me socialise or make friends. I just think I'm there to do a job and then go home. So it's been really humbling, this experience of moving to Australia, and it sounds stupid to say and quite dramatic, but I can only again report on what I'm feeling right now, and I feel like if Australia was a person, they would be giving me the side eye in that meme, you know, I'll probably put it on the screen, where she's given the side eye. They do not want me here. And the restriction, the 6-month restriction, is just so limiting. I'm looking at jobs every day and I'm like, I can't do that. And I can't do that because it's longer than 6 months. They want particular Australian experience. I don't have that. I wanted to get a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job and do some travelling at the weekends, because that's the main reason we're here, and Hamish has got 9 to 5, so it just kind of works out with our schedule. But that hope is kind of slowly fading away, and I'm just realising I was really naive to move here, being in my late 20s and being on the career ladder and not really being prepared to take a career break and come off the ladder, because when I got my visa I thought I would just get a job here that was similar to the one that I had in the UK and still be able to grow and develop, but that is not the case. And work and job is so important to me. It really gives me a purpose. I can't just sit around all day. Like, I go mad, I'm going mad. And I've now realised that was maybe a consideration that I didn't think of when I first moved, and that I should have put more thought into it. So if you are thinking of doing the move, I'd just recommend having a look into it and being prepared to take a career break if you do move here, because I thought I was one of those people. I thought I'll just work in a nice little cafe or a pub, and I just have a really casual job and I just enjoy this holiday. But I've realised that's actually not for me, and I want to do something that I feel that I'm making an impact and going somewhere, and I'm really struggling to find that kind of job. So just a consideration if you are moving.
Hello, Future Heidi here. I'm just editing this video. I just thought I'd shed some more light on the job stuff because I think I've brushed over it a little bit, and I've met some people over the weekend who are going through similar. So I met a lawyer, a teacher, management consultant, someone that worked in events, quite a few people over the weekend, even someone that worked in hospitality who was kind of struggling to find a role, even though she'd worked in hotels for the last 4 years. So yeah, just want to be mindful, if you are thinking of moving to the Gold Coast, double check what you actually need to get out here, because it is quite complex. Like, the lawyer that I met, she said she's been out here a year and she still hasn't got the accreditation or the approval to actually practice out here. So it's taken her a year and she had to get lawyers involved, and similarly a lot of people are talking to like visa lawyers to see how if they can get skilled visas, etc. So working holiday visa, just really be mindful that it might be a bit more difficult than anticipated to get the job that you want. Like, there are jobs out here, like I've got a Christmas casual job, I've got an interview today, which is good news, for another Christmas casual. So there's like Christmas casual, and there is bar work and some hospitality. But if you just want a job that's maybe a bit of a step up or a kind of career focused job, just want to be mindful of. So I just thought I'd add that extra context.
The third one is the loneliness is real. So I moved here having no friends, no contacts. Hamish obviously has friends here that we've seen a couple of times, but they're very much his friends. Like, I love hanging out with the girls and doing like girly things and having like my own friends and space. I think that's really important in a relationship, to not just do things together all the time. And I have such amazing friends in London. I thought it would be quite easy to find that here. I thought they'd just find Brits like me that have made the move, that are willing to do things. And I have found a few. So I've been on Bumble BFF and found a few people that I'm chatting to. I'm chatting to everyone. I'm basically not saying no to anyone and saying yes when they ask me to do things. So hopefully that will go somewhere. And I've got to meet up with a Bumble BFF person on Friday, which is tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know how that is in my next vlog. But It's been more difficult than I thought, and linked to the job, I guess. I thought because I would be getting a similar job, that's where I'd make all my friends, but because I'm struggling to do that, I'm just kind of surviving. And it's been hard. The loneliness has been real. And because I don't know anyone out here in the same situation, that's where I've kind of been turning to YouTube to validate my feelings and find people that are like me and that have been through this. So if you are in this stage and you're a bit lonely, I feel you, I got you. It is completely normal, and I know I will make the friends and it will come. It just maybe hasn't happened as quickly as I expected it to happen. So yeah, the loneliness is real, is my next con. And then the fourth one, which is a bit juvenile really and a bit silly, talking about all these bigger problems, but pack a jumper, because the weather here has not been that great. It has been so grey and so rainy. Hamish is saying that it's not normally like this, and maybe it's something to do with global warming or climate change, but I didn't bring enough jumpers, which is crazy to say. But yeah, quite a juvenile one, and I know the weather here is much better than back in the UK, and again, I'm super lucky, but it just has not been as good as I thought it would. I thought it never rained. I was told it never rains in Queensland, but it does, so pack a jumper. So I have just waffled for God knows how long. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully that's helped if you're considering the move, or you just want a bit of an insight on what it's like to move to Australia from the UK. Hopefully I've covered all the points that I want to cover. And I'm going to do one in a month's time, and hopefully that will be a bit more positive and I'll have way more pros than cons. But thank you so much for tuning in. It really means the world. If you've got any questions, please drop them in the comment box. If you're going through similar, please reach out to me and we can chat and talk about our feelings. Thank you so much, lots of love, and I will see you soon for the next video.